everyone, and welcome back. Today we are doing something I'm so dang excited for, and that is starting Ranunculus for the very first time. It's going to be quite a theme this year about trying things out for the first time, so I hope you are along for the ride, and I always appreciate any tips or tricks along the way if you have any to give. So I always wanted to grow Ranunculus. I thought about growing them last year, but I just didn't have the space, especially since my garden beds were still fully into vegetable mode. So I wasn't wanting to give up the real estate quite yet for Ranunculus, and I didn't have enough time to research it, and I was very nervous, especially here in New England. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Kristy. I am located in Western Massachusetts, Zone 6A, and this is going to be my second year selling at my roadside flower stand. Now, with the flower stand, it was something that just came on super randomly last year because I just grew too many flowers, stumbled upon YouTube, got down this rabbit hole, and was like, hey, I think I can do this. Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today I'm so dang excited because we are starting Ranunculus for the first time. You're going to be hearing me say that a lot this season, trying things out for the first time. So I do want to say, if you have any tips or tricks, please feel free to add them in the comments below. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Kristy. I am located in Western Massachusetts, Zone 6A. We are going with Ranunculus. I have about 350 corms or so that I plan on growing in my previously used as vegetable garden beds. I have 11 of them in my backyard. I plan on using some of that real estate for Ranunculus and Lisianthus, which is also something we tried for the very first time this year, with a quick little update that after 8-9 days or so, I had almost total germination. So I'm so dang excited about that too. Anyways, back to the Ranunculus. I have seen pictures of these. They are so dang gorgeous. And I really want to focus this year on starting super early, getting those earlier blooms so I can open up my roadside flower stand in the spring. Last year, I opened it up the last weekend of July. It was painstakingly awful to me to wait so long to get it open, but unfortunately, I just didn't have the space that I needed. We were still waiting for trees to cut down. I had to tilt all my beds. So we've come quite a long ways, and this year I am cutting in to my vegetable garden. So these will be grown in 2, I'm hoping, of my raised garden beds, maybe 3. We're gonna have to see, depends on how tightly I space them. So I purchased my Ranunculus Corms from 2 different flower farmers. One was from Nicole in Flower Hill Farm. She is located in New York, so that's super close to me. And then I also purchased some from Basket of Flowers when there was a sale. I wanted to get a few more. I got a ton of white ones. So we have around 350 corms, if I remember correctly. So super excited. I have been tempted to buy more, but I've been doing really good and just holding still because I don't want to invest in too many more when I don't really know what I'm doing. So again, let's get back to talking about the Ranunculus Corms. So right now it is time for us to pre-soak our Ranunculus Corms. I have read that you should soak them anywhere from 3 to 4 hours or 4 to 6 hours. So I'm going to go right in the middle, and I'm just going to have them in there for at least 4 hours, which will bring me to later this afternoon. And apologies if you hear my kids in the background because it is right before lunchtime and I am already running late. So I am in my kitchen. I have just a big bucket right here that I use when I harvest my flowers. And I am going to be reusing my organza bags that I use for my dahlias. So I'm just gonna put everything in here with a tag. I have already made sure I wrote them out so I know what variety is in which bag. I mean, honestly, for me, it doesn't really matter or make a huge difference because I am just going to be cutting them, but it'll be good for later on when probably if I dig this corms up and save them, so I'll know for later on. The ones from Basket of Flowers, they're all the same variety. They're white. And then from Flower Hill Farm, I got some different varieties, which I'll go through when I grab the bags. We need room temperature water. So I have my faucet I will have going, trying to get just that room temp. I was trying to get this earlier, but it just didn't work out. My cats were trying to get in the bucket. So I just said, heck with it. We're just going to hopefully wing it, and it won't be too cold because it's freezing here today or too warm. So I have my room temperature water ready to go in my bucket. So let's start with our first bag. So from Flower Hill Farm, I got the half clone marshmallow. I have 20 of these, so I have my organza bag, and I'm going to make sure I put the correct tag and plop that in there. And then these are the corns. So again, this is my first time growing them. So I have my corms, let's see if it'll focus, right here. And we'll put them in the bag. And I have kept these actually to the entrance of my basement for a few months now. So they've been hanging out there. I check in on them. I just had the bags just open. No issues. It was just cool and dark. So I have these. We're going to tighten them up. There should be 20 of them in here. And I will put those in. And I'm hoping that one bucket I can put everything in just because I don't want to take up the whole entire bucket. All right, next up, we have our half clone iceberg. Again, from Flower Hill Farm. And we'll dump those in. And I have 20 of these. And give it a nice good tug. Into the bucket it goes. All right, next we have, so this next one I have the La Doce Vita mix. There are 50 of these. I absolutely love the color. So I got a larger quantity. So I will, whoops, time to get these in. All right. So we have these ready to go. Pretty sure I got all of them. Yes. And I will give that a good tug. All right, and then I also have the pastel mix again from Flower Hill Farm. Oh, you know what I did not do? Put my tag in there. I mean, I probably would have put 2 and 2 together, but I do have a lot of the other corms. So pastel mix is next. Those are dumped in. Yes, all of them. All right, so we're gonna give this one a nice good tug. And the last one, I got a bunch of white. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but it's the Telcati white. I'm not sure. They were on sale, so I grabbed a ton of them. So I think each one, and these corms are huge. And I even noticed as well when I was going through the bag that there was definitely like a few of them stuck together. So I'm wondering if I could maybe take them apart once they are plumped up. So I may have a few more of those as well. All right, so we have 4 bags of those. So I'm going to gently place them in. And then we'll give it a nice, good swirl. But yeah, so like this one right here, there's definitely 2 stuck together. So, hey, I'll take it. I'm pumped. I'm so excited to try these. I really wanted to get some good spring crops in. So there's 1 bag, 2 bags, and then we have 3 and 4. And then I kind of went a little bit, I know this is probably too much for me, but you know what, go big or go home, correct? At least that is how I run. All right, so we have that bag ready to go. Everything will be inside this bucket, and I'm gonna try and keep a nice steady stream at times, if not definitely every 30 minutes or so, going in and just swishing my hand around in the water. All right, and in these go as well. And it says room temp. I'm gonna just try and have a nice little stream. Just like so. Every 30 minutes, I set an alarm and I am just checking in on the corms. So after 4 hours, they have plumped up nicely. We are finally upstairs after 4 hours. So I have everything nicely soaked in the water, and then they have plumped up nicely. I have been checking in on them. So they've plumped up really well. So what I have right here are a bunch of bottom trays. I have some Pro Mix potting soil. It is moistened, not soggy, because we're going to try and not kill all the things before I plant them out. And all I'm going to do right now is just add some potting mix to the bottom of these trays. And then I will just put them in super closely, cover them with some more potting soil. And then I'm actually going to move them into the basement where they will stay until we plant them out. I have read you want to make sure that they stay in a nice, cool, dark place for about 2 or 3 weeks. And then hopefully we'll see some sprouts. So we're pre-sprouting all of this. Again, I don't have any type of high tunnel, nothing fancy. They are just going to be going into the ground, hopefully come March. So we're going to keep them in the basement where they'll stay nice and cool. Upstairs right here, I keep it about 63 degrees because I do have my Lisianthus. I'm trying to not have it go above 65. Those actually might go downstairs as well. I did buy some shop lights from Costco. Last year they had 2 packs. This year it is a 1 pack. They were actually on sale, I think for like $6 off. So it is 10,000 lumens. You can also do 5,000 lumens, which was the 2 packs that I have right here. I use these for my vegetables and I actually really like them over the shop lights that I bought on Amazon. So you can always get shop lights instead of grow lights, and I really do like these. So I have the 10,000 lumens. I might just do like 1 per shelf instead of 2 once they start growing, or I'll put 2 on there and just instead of having it at 10,000, put it at 5. So yep, let's get planting these away. All right, thank goodness for this table and it being so stinking big because we got a lot of things going on. So I have 1 tray right here. We're getting my potting soil in. Again, it is not too, it's just damp, I want to say. It still like holds its shape if I squish it, but it's not going to be dripping anything. I really am going to try my best to, like I said, not kill all the things. I plan on just misting it and checking in on it. Just again, making sure it stays moist because, I don't know, we're trying a lot of things. And I know once March comes, I mean, luckily I'll be able to plant these out, but even in February, I do have a lot of cool hardy annuals I'm planting. So I just want to make sure I'm able to stay on top of everything. I am hoping that I can get some good spring blooms from these. I'm not quite sure. Again, I'm going to make sure I mark it on my calendar so I know when I started these. All right, so we have a nice layer. I am going to start off with these. I want to do the smaller packs actually. And these organza bags did great. I just used them for my dahlias. So we have the smaller corms, and I noticed that some of them still had like 2 attached. So I tried wiggling them as best as I could apart. So we have these, and I am just going to stick them in legs down and fairly close to one another. And we're going to just continue this process, and I'll catch up with you once I have the whole tray filled. All right, we have everything laid out so nicely. I'm gonna cover everything with some more potting soil, and then we're gonna repeat this process for the last 3 bags. And I'm going to just lightly cover them. I'm gonna try and make sure I move this little line right here, just so I know that it is a different type of ranunculus. And I'm going to just nice and cover them. Let's see here. All right, so this is where my line is gonna be. There we go. And I will say I am pumped that I got all of this potting soil on sale this fall. I got it at Walmart, and I am still on 1 bag of Pro Mix after doing my eucalyptus and my Lisianthus. And I still have some actually left in the bag too, because it's like a nice compressed bag. There's, oh, I'm just so excited. I have so many. I'm like, oh, I might might have bought too much, but who knows with all the planting and succession planting. Hopefully it'll carry me over for the whole entire year. All right, we have everything nicely tucked in. Just gotta get this corner. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Oh, wait, I missed a spot right here. It just says to make sure that you cover them completely. So, I mean, I didn't do like an inch or two, I would say, but definitely everything is covered, and this is what it's gonna look like. All right, so I'm gonna do my last 3 bags, and then we're gonna move them into the basement. Well, I was able to get everything into 3 trays, so I hope I did everything right. I made sure to completely cover everything. We are, again, going to move these down to the basement where I will check on them, you know, every few days. Let's be honest, I'll probably check on them every single day. We'll mist them just to make sure that the soil stays damp, but not soggy. And this time, I guess they're supposed to be doubling in size and creating little white like rootlets. And I'm actually going to probably be keeping these in a little bit longer. So once I see some green growth emerging, I will put the grow lights on for about 6 to 8 hours, keeping them in the basement. Again, you're supposed to have them between 40 and 50 degrees. I think it's around like 54 degrees or so, maybe 57. I'm not quite sure. I gotta move my thermometer down there. But I do remember that it's too warm for me to have my dahlias stored in the basement, so that's why they're in the garage. And hopefully they'll be good enough for this, because that's as cold as it's gonna get is in my basement on the floor. And yeah, we're just gonna keep checking in on them, making sure that everything is looking good, and then they will stay under the grow lights until it is time for me to plant them out in March. Right now, we are completely covered in snow still. We've been having a lot of ice and freezing rain. We have more snow coming on the way. So I'm really hoping that with the kit that I bought from the Gardener's Workshop, so I'm hoping to plant these out in March. Hopefully the snow will be gone by then. If not, they're just gonna have to stay in here a little bit longer. I feel like maybe worst case scenario, I'm gonna have to do some more research, is I can always pot them up. I do have some little 3-inch containers that I purchased at the dollar store that I plan on reusing. They were fantastic for potting up my coneflower and my dahlias. So if I have to take them out of here because the weather is still just not cooperating, we'll pot them up. But what's great about my raised garden beds is that they have really good drainage, so I'm not worried about them puddling up, where I am worried about if I were to plant them into my tilled beds, those flood. Like right now, it's like an ice skating rink out there. That's always something I'm gonna have to figure out. I'm gonna have to add some more compost and topsoil to try and mound it. But anyways, hoping to get these out in March, so we will do some check-ins. I'll let you know if once I see any signs of some greens emerging from the soil. I'm super excited. Again, I was so on the edge of ordering more, but I'm trying not to, because I feel like this is probably going to be like too many, and I'm really hoping that the 4 hours was good. The smaller corms definitely plumped up really nicely. The larger ones, I'm thinking that maybe like I could have left them in maybe for the 6 hours, but with my schedule, like we need the sink. And I have things to do. Again, I always plant and do things during nap time. So unfortunately, 6 hours would be around dinner time. So the 4 hours is, you know what, it's just gonna have to work. But again, I can always just take notes and remind myself for next year that I can always leave them in a little bit longer. But yeah, I'm super excited. I'm going to move these downstairs. I'll show you what that looks like later. Yeah, thanks for following along with another first here. Growing ranunculus. I'm super darn excited. I love these flowers. They're so pretty. I remember always buying them. We have like a small grocery store, and they would have them, and I would always buy them for my desk to enjoy. They're just gorgeous. And Vase Life, fantastic. So yep, these will be going into the basement. I'll show you afterwards what the setup looks like. And if you would like to stay tuned and see any updates, go ahead and click like and subscribe and hit that bell button, and I'll see you all next time. Happy gardening.